Well, thank you so much, Madam Chairwoman, and thank you so much for our witnesses in the testimony that you have presented here today. One of the great areas of concern in my district, in the 23rd Congressional District of New York, which is large swaths of agricultural territory on the New York-Pennsylvania line, along with the suburbs of Erie County and in Buffalo, is the high cost of energy. And Dr. Holtz-Eakin, are you aware that the prices of American home heating this year rose by more than 27%?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. It has been something that, people across upstate New York have been gravely concerned about while they're, struggling with some of the proposals at the state and federal level of reforms and changes to the way we heat our homes. The other concern is mandates on electric vehicles into the future. I have questions. Do you think that President Biden's recommendation to Americans that one of their ways to reduce energy prices is for them to go out and buy an electric car, do you think that that's a legitimate solution for most Americans?
So, the price point on electric cars is well above mass penetration. It's not going to happen that fast. So the magnitudes are all wrong. It's not going to do anything substantial. It's a single price. Again, the inflation phenomenon is prices across the economy, all goods and services rising at the same time. And so picking out individual items and focusing on them, which is something people do a lot, misses the larger point. We have prices going up everywhere.
Right. I think you bring up a great point. I mean, estimates have the cost of an electric vehicle between $45,000 and $50,000, on average. Median household income is $50,000 to $55,000, and that's with federal subsidy involved. Instead of recommending that Americans spend almost every single penny of their income on an electric vehicle, do you believe that the Biden administration should instead be focused on increasing American energy production at all different levels?
I think the strategy, which they've undertaken on the climate front, is an extremely unwise one and quite risky. I mean, it basically says we're going to have the cleanest electricity sector on the globe, and we're going to send that electricity across a grid that doesn't exist to power every home, industrial plant, vehicle in the United States. And that's betting the ranch on one solution, which isn't smart. If you let markets decide things, they'll diversify and come up with lots of solutions. So I think it's not a wise strategy. It's also quite troubling from a sort of matching it up to the research literature. In any serious study of the economics of climate change, natural gas is the bridge fuel, and natural gas is a focus for decades during the transition to cleaner energy portfolio. So to take it off the table in 2021, 2022 makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, I'm glad that you brought up natural gas, because in my state of New York, in my actual congressional district, the Marcellus Shale runs right under the ground in the southern tier counties of New York, and Pennsylvania does, safely.
As a native of Pittsburgh, we want to thank New York for their policies.
But, unfortunately, you're right. In 2015, our former governor, Andrew Cuomo, announced a moratorium on, the safe pumping of natural gas, making New York the first state with the significant shale resources to do so. In your opinion, could ending bans on fracking in states like New York, could that increase American energy production?
It would. We've actually already seen this. From about 2008 to 2012, the hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling revolution generated, a North American energy supply expansion that made us the preeminent source on the globe, and it was also an enormous source of economic growth at that time.
That's great. Do you believe that the jobs created by domestic production of oil and natural gas could benefit Americans in the economy as a whole, and can it actually bring down inflation?
No, again, it's energy. It's energy prices, not all prices, but it's a crucial input. When we see global oil prices go up, we see fertilizer costs go up, we see all sorts of cost pressures that have to get passed along to consumers. So it can contribute.
Okay. Do you believe that the anti-fossil fuel, political leaders that are restricting the supply of oil by opposing oil investment, oil production, oil transport, that they're causing energy prices to rise?
Global oil markets are always tightly balanced, and so small variations in supply and demand produce big price swings. And so that certainly has had an impact over the past several years.
Very good. Thank you very much, and I yield back.